Vietnam and the United States began working together in 1989 when USAID launched programs benefiting Vietnamese with disabilities through the Patrick Leahy War Victims Fund and the Displaced Children and Orphans Fund. USAID works with Vietnam to strengthen capacities, to enhance governance, expand access to quality higher education, address the harmful effects of HIV/AIDS and threats to global health security, improve welfare of persons with disabilities, advance gender equality, female empowerment and the role of vulnerable populations, and address environmental challenges including climate change, biodiversity conservation, and dioxin contamination. Recently, USAID mission in Vietnam announced the new mission director, Mr. Michael Green. With experience working at USAID mission in Azerbaijan, Peru, Bangladesh, and Ecuador, etc., Mr. Green is committed to contributing to effectively implementing the second half of the country development cooperation strategy for Vietnam 2014-2018.
Hello everyone, and you're watching Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 NetViet. In today's program, we are going to have a talk with the new mission director of USAID in Vietnam. Please join me in welcome Mr. Michael Green. Thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations on your new position. We know that you assumed the position of mission director for USAID in Vietnam in July 2016. So what are your impressions of the country? And we're also curious to know what have you been able to see in Vietnam in the past 2 months in terms of work and also life.
Yes, Ngan, I'm so delighted to be with you here today on your program. And that's true. I've just arrived in the last about 60 days, and I'm just so delighted to be here. The thing I've learned in living overseas for over 25 years is that it's the people that make the best thing about a country, and the Vietnamese people have been so warm and welcoming to me. I'm here with my wife, and we've had an opportunity to travel some. We went up to Sapa for a 4-day weekend, and we had a delightful time in the beautiful mountains. We rode our bicycles, we trekked up in the mountains with a Hmong guide, and spent time with her family. And so it was just a beautiful and delightful time and a great introduction to Vietnam. Here in Hanoi, we've done all the tourism things. We've enjoyed the food so much. My wife and I are just having a great time settling into life here, and we look forward to the next 4 years. In my work, I've had the opportunity to travel to both Da Nang and Ho Chi Minh City. In Da Nang, one of the most interesting events I went to was a Women in STEM conference, and STEM stands, of course, for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, and the conference was sponsored by our higher education partners, and the purpose is to stimulate interest by young women in STEM careers. And I was so impressed with all of the women, the presenters, who are such high achieving in both government and academia and the private sector in STEM fields. And about 300, mostly young women, turned out for this 2-day conference, and it was so motivating for me to feel their energy and feel their excitement at their future careers in STEM. In Ho Chi Minh City, I went down to visit the Intel plant, which is an amazing technological plant that manufactures high tech and providing huge numbers of great jobs for young Vietnamese. And Intel is our co-sponsor of these higher education programs. I also attended the launch of a HIV self-testing, which is newly available in Vietnam.
USAID Vietnam is now halfway through implementing its 5-year development cooperation strategy for the country. Can you share with us your thoughts about the importance of this strategy, as well as highlight some major achievements?
As you say, we're just over halfway through our 5-year strategy, and overall we're very happy with the progress that's been made. Achievements that we're very proud of are in HIV/AIDS, for example. Over recent years, we have helped support the Ministry of Health, as the ministry has created a system that now supports over 110,000 people with life-saving ARV drugs. In climate change, our programs have achieved things like supporting the Thanh Hoa provincial government in their green growth action plan to protect, to adapt to climate change and mitigate the impacts. We work in disaster risk reduction and preparation through organizations like the Vietnamese Red Cross. We've assisted with communities all along the coast to prepare for disasters. An interesting advance, we've made great progress since 2012 in our dioxin remediation program in the Da Nang airport. That's a huge project that involves, the first phase involved over 450,000 cubic meters of earth that has been cleaned of dioxin, and now has been turned over to that land has been turned over to the airport authority, and as they are completing or in the process of expanding the terminal in preparation for APEC next summer or next fall. And so now we're beginning the second phase of Da Nang remediation, and we should complete that project by next summer.
USAID Vietnam team recently completed a midpoint review of the 5-year country development cooperation strategy for Vietnam. USAID projects implemented in various fields, bringing benefits to people from all walks of life, namely Vitality Mekong project supported by USAID has helped women in the Mekong Delta to get access to finance, improve business skills and increase their income.
Trong khi tham gia cái lớp tập huấn này về thì gia đình cũng làm cái nghề này thì tạo công ăn việc làm cho các thành viên trong gia đình được có công ăn việc làm ổn định, không phải đi làm thuê như hồi xưa.
As Vietnam is one of the world's most vulnerable countries to the effects of climate change, USAID mission in Vietnam has projects aiming to accelerate Vietnam's transition to climate-resilient, low-emission, sustainable economic development through an integrated mitigation, adaptation, and disaster risk reduction approach. This is a field applying the Climate Smart Rice model, jointly conducted by the officers of Agriculture and Fisheries Department, Nam Định Province, and USAID Vietnam in Giao Hải Commune, Giao Thủy District, Nam Định Province.
Nó vừa là giảm cái khí phát thải này, tránh được cái ô nhiễm môi trường này, và cái mong muốn của nông dân là chi phí ít, lợi nhuận cao.
While the strategy, goal and objectives remain relevant, new opportunities and challenges have emerged. This includes traction for economic and governance reforms as a result of the TPP, increased international and local attention of the environment, decreasing donor support for HIV activities, and emerging opportunities to work with and support local partners across USAID's portfolio.
What are the main priorities under this strategy for the upcoming years, and will there be any changes or emerging challenge in your opinion?
The basic priorities in that strategy remain. Our priority of assisting the government and the people in taking advantage of trade opportunities and economic growth, the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, that is a major priority for both governments. We have several programs that focus on that, and we are deepening that partnership. During President Obama's historic visit here to Hanoi, I'm so sorry I missed it, that our two governments agreed on the priority of implementing the Paris Climate Change Accords, and so we have major new programs in climate change that are coming online. We are focusing more now on biodiversity And we are working with government ministries to develop new programs on biodiversity. The first major new program is very exciting that we just announced this last week with the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, who we will be supporting the ministry in its goal to combat wildlife trafficking.
Up to now, after more than 20 years, I know that USAID has worked with many international organizations to implement projects in Vietnam. Will there be more opportunities for local organizations to get involved in USAID's work in Vietnam?
Important lesson we've learned is that local organizations are the key to the sustainability of everything we do. Long after we're gone, it's local organizations that will carry on the work. The lesson we've learned here in Vietnam is that local organizations are the best equipped to implement our programs. They know all of the local situation, they know the opportunities, they know the people, and our experience has been that they deliver excellent results with the resources that we share with them. Since 2013, we have 11 new awards, direct awards to local organizations for everything from 3 of our 6 grantees on our disabilities programs, our local organizations, our disaster relief and response grants. The majority of them are to local organizations. In our health programs, large numbers of grants to local organizations. Many of them are sub-grants from a larger grantee that grants to sub-grantees. They have a whole project called the Development Partners Capacitation Project, and its goal is to work directly with local organizations to increase their capacity to manage funds and to advocate for the issues that they champion. One of our most important local partners is the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which for years has been implementing the Provincial Competitiveness Index. The Vietnam Red Cross, who implement our largest disaster relief and preparation program, and they've been an excellent partner delivering results. I have developed a whole new initiative focused, setting aside a large quantity of funds that's going to be awarded just to local organizations. And the issue that they're going to be focusing on is environmental and food safety.
How will USAID support Vietnam to take full advantage of new generation free trade agreement, such as the TPP or EVFTA EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement?
Our new generation of support for free trade and economic growth is our Governance and Inclusive Growth Project, the GIG project. And this project was specifically designed with the new generation of free trade agreements in mind, the TPP and the EU Free Trade Agreement, WTO and the TIFA, the Trade Facilitation Agreement, which comes under WTO. All of the aspects of these trade agreements are foreseen to be covered in assistance under the GIG project. Currently, we're doing everything from small and medium enterprise assistance to government procurement and contracting to transparency and all of the other issues that are involved in the current generation of trade agreements. TPP, as you mentioned, is a new generation, and the EU. And so our program is in the process of discussing with the government about expanding into those new areas of the new generation trade agreements, from labor rights to environmental compliance to intellectual property rights, all of the kind of advanced features of the new trade agreements.
Once again, thank you so much for joining us today, and we wish you great time in Vietnam.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Bye.
That's all we have for today's program. I hope that you have found out more interesting information concerning the 5-year development cooperation strategy of USAID in Vietnam, especially the priorities for the next 2.5 years. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.